So by now you've probably heard that the Texans just cemented once again a legacy for Nick Caserio because they have become, I believe, just the third team to have not one, but two players earn Rookie of the Year honors, both C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson Jr. In this video, we're going to talk about how unique that accomplishment is, and we're going to talk about the overall draft class. And really what I want to do with this is I want to kind of do past, present, future on this video. I want to talk about the past, as in this year, and the draft history of Nick Caserio. Then I want to talk about the present excitement for the team, and then I want to talk about looking to the future and why it is so bright, and even compare these guys to others. Now, this isn't the NFL Honors Awards. This is the PFWA, or the Pro Football Writers Association. They name Rookie of the Years on the offense and defensive side, and the overall Rookie of the Year, which is C.J. Stroud. I don't think anybody think that that's a surprise. So here it is. You see the article that he and Will Anderson Jr. both earn Rookie of the Year honors from the Pro Football Writers Association. This is kind of nuts to me. As I was looking at it, I'm thinking about stats, and I'm like, all right, Will Anderson, I think a lot of what helped him is battling through injuries and being an impact player when it came down the season, down the stretch. He had 7 sacks. That didn't lead all rookies. I think Kobe Turner had 9 for the Rams, I want to say. But he had 34 tackles, 6 assisted tackles, which are just fine. But here's the thing that was amazing about Will Anderson. A lot of people brought him into the league thinking one-trick pony. First year or two, he's just going to rush the passer, rush the passer, rush the passer, rush the passer. And it turns out that he is, at this point in his career, just as good at defending the run as he is rushing the passer. I'm pretty amazed by this, actually. When you look at his PFF grades, his pass rush grade is a 77.3, which is respectable, especially for a rookie. Like, it's very good. His run defense grade is also a 77.3. To play those two things with consistency like that is not easy. So that, I think, is what makes him so impressive. I don't even need to get started. While missing a couple of games, C.J. Stroud went for 4,100 yards. It was absolutely in the realm of possibility that he was going to lead the league in passing yards, touchdown interception ratio, all of those things, if he's not hurt for a couple of games. It really is very, very possible because the league leader was only 500 or 600 yards ahead of him. So if he's not out those 2 games, maybe, just maybe, we're looking at a guy with 4,700 yards. And we're like, are you kidding me? And yes, I'm going to go out here and say it, especially if Bobby Slowik comes back. 5,000 yards is not off the table. But I want to look at, now I told you I'm going to move into a second segment, which is the draft class in general, and I think there's a lot of talented players in this class. And ESPN went out and did a top 10 rookies. All right. Now, this was done back in, December. So, whatever. All right. But here's the ranking. CJ is 1. All right. Jalen Carter is 2 on this. All right. So there's a defender ahead of Will Anderson. Devin Witherspoon is 3. And Puka Nacua 4. Sam Laporta 5. Here's basically the reason I'm showing you this, and I'll go back to this. I want to show you what happened in the last 2 months, or the last month, and how Will Anderson absolutely cemented himself in here because he had a couple of sacks down the stretch. He played well, all of it with an injury. So he went from number 6, which is the third, defensive player, to the defensive rookie of the year. All right, but here's the other thing that I want to talk about. This is back in December, and I think it would still hold. Look at number 7, Tank Dell. All right, and I know it's sad because he got hurt right here. He was just placed on injured reserve. They were talking about it. But I think people forget just how good Tank Dell was. He was absolutely on his way to a 1,000-yard receiving season. Got something even better for you, and I don't know if this is, I don't know what to say, but in my fantasy football league, I was trying everything I could do to get Tank Dell. I offered up Saquon Barkley to a guy that was challenging for the playoffs. had no running backs. He had Bijan and nothing else, and he wouldn't do it. It's a dynasty league, so he understood the assignment, right? But I wanted Tank Dell so bad. In fact, he said that he was offended that I would even offer them this. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? I'm offering you one of the best running backs in the league. What are we going to do? And he wasn't having it. I did my best to try and find out. But I also said I wanted to do a little bit of historical perspective. The first time rookies won, or on the same team won Offense and Defensive Rookie of the Year was actually back with my Detroit Lions. Back in 1967 when Mel Farr and Lem Barney, all right, running back and cornerback, did it in 1967. And then most recently, and I don't believe it happened in between, I'm not positive on that, was 2018 with Alvin Kamara and Marcus Lattimore. Here's the difference between those and what you have. Okay, those running back and corner are good. That's great to have. But we all know the most important position, unarguably, is quarterback on an entire team and definitely on the offense. Quarterback is the single most important position. I can make the argument very, very well that an edge defender, a quality pass rusher, disruptor off the edge, is the most important defensive position. And if you look at contracts of defensive players, they would tend to agree with that. Follow the money. Where does the money go? Who gets the most? All right, you got to build in the trenches. You got tackles that are getting paid like crazy. All right, offensive tackles, defensive tackles are starting to get paid like crazy too. But nobody gets more than the quarterback and the edge rusher. That's it. Your draft, you just hit on Defensive Player of the Year and Offensive Player of the Year for rookies at the two most important positions in football. Yeah. Like, you've got that going for you. Everything else is just building around it. And it's starting to look like Stingley was a hit at the corner. Your defense has its cornerstones, no pun intended, right, for years to come. Your offense has it for years to come with Nico and Tank and CJ. All right, like, this is unbelievable, the amount of talent you have in the right places. Now you just need Caserio to keep doing what he's been doing, which is drafting players that are good, solid players, and then, D'Amico can put them in position to succeed. It's really that simple. And very excited to see what happens next for you. This isn't, by the way, it worked out pretty well with Kamara and Lattimore, right? It worked out pretty well for them, but this is better. Like, this is better. This is at more important positions, and this team, you're going to be pretty solid. All right, and you know that, and that's why we've continued to talk about them. I'll just end with this. If you're not familiar with what we do with this channel, we are Lions fans. We started Sports Talk Detroit, and then we started this channel, Sports Talk Extra. Started it for teams that the national media ignores. You'll never hear us do a Cowboys video on here. And the reason for that, we've really just kind of narrowed in on the Texans and the Browns. We've done over 40 videos for each. We want to be your go-to source for the Texans. So like, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.